All right. So this unit is on cells, and we're going to learn everything about cells for about 3 or 4 units, okay? So this is the introduction, and I'm going to say this so that it's in the video. If you don't have the foundation, it's going to be very difficult to survive the next couple of units because we're going to apply things that you're learning from this unit in the following units. But the first thing you want to know is a little bit of the history of cells. And there's a couple of scientists you have to know in this class, and these are 2, okay? The first to ever see a cell, and then the second one actually used a microscope, looked at plant cells, and I have nothing covered here. It's just a conversation. And when he looked at plant cells, because they have a specific shape, it looked like prison cells to him. It reminded him of that. And that's how the cell was named a cell. So by him looking at a cork, it's actually a cork, which is a plant cell. And I didn't put that in here, but I'm going to put it just in case it's in the test. So go ahead and look at plant cells. He looked at a cork. And he looked at the cells, and they looked exactly like these little squares, and it reminded him of prison cells. So he named the cell an actual cell. So that's a little bit of history for you. The cell theory has 3 parts. I'm gonna start to prepare you for test questions. What do you think would be a good test question if there's 3 parts to the cell theory? What are the 3 parts of the cell theory? Can that be a multiple choice question or fill in the blank? What are the 3 parts of the cell theory? Can be a fill in the blank? What are your options then? No, but you're close. Which of these is not part of the cell theory, right? And I could throw something else from this unit. Start to try to plan your brain like that. How do I study for this question? What type of questions can it be? Which of these is not part of the cell theory? Is perfect. Anybody know what the cell theory states? 3 things. The visual should help. Yes. All living things are made up of at least 1 cell. Correct. Because we learned that when we did the characteristics of life. You have to have a cell to be a living thing. All cells come from pre-existing cells. And I didn't cover the second one because it's so hard to get that answer. But cells are the basic structure and function of life. So your structure is based on your cell. Your function of your body is based on cells. Because cells make up tissues, and tissues make up organs, and organs make up organ system, and then you're an organism. These are my types of cells. I rarely start with a picture of all the types of cells, but I put them in there so you could see there's a great variety, okay? It's not just 2 types of cells. Well, that's a lie. Of all these cells, there's 2 categories that they could fall into, and I think that's my next slide, maybe. No. So all cells are made up of parts, and the parts are called organelles. So cell parts are organelles. Organelles make up cells. Molecules make up organelles. Cells, no matter which cell you are, you're going to have 3 parts. If you're looking at this visual, anybody know what those parts are? I'm pointing to them. Yes. No. That's definitely a part, but not one that all cells have. As a matter of fact, many cells don't have that. Cell membrane. That's my first one. So cell membrane, which a lot of people will call cell wall, but when we learn about the cell wall and the cell membrane, you'll start to realize they're completely different. You're definitely going to learn a lot about the cell membrane. Cytoplasm. Good job. Yes. Good job. There are 2 types of cells. You're either a prokaryotic cell, even though I showed you all of these, they're either prokaryotic or eukaryotic. If you're prokaryotic, does anybody know anything about prokaryotic or eukaryotic? Yes. Okay, does anybody know what organism this is? What type of organism contains prokaryotic cells? That's definitely a single-celled organism. What is it, though? Yes, say it. Bacteria. Bacteria are prokaryotic. Who's eukaryotic? Who are these organisms? Name them. Name the ones you know. Plants. Animals. So we got plants, animals, what else? Fungi. Anybody know what the other little guy is? Protist. So if you're a protist, fungi, plant, or animal, and we're animals, we have eukaryotic cells. Does anybody know what the difference is? Yes. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells do not. So there's going to be a test question. And it's going to say, what do all cells have? Right? And it's going to say nucleus, cell membrane, DNA, and cytoplasm. One of those is wrong. So which of these is not one of the things that all cells have? Nucleus. Because not all cells have a nucleus. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. And the way you could try to remember the difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic is you have eukaryotic cells and your cells have a nucleus.